Ahead on your Thursday edition of the 208. The drug naloxone can save lives, reversing an opioid overdose. It's an amazing medicine, but can be hard to find for some in the Treasure Valley. A new nonprofit is working to change that. We're going to introduce you to the Boise Seal Project. Did you know? Famed writer Ernest Hemingway made a home here in Idaho. But what some don't know is his deep connection to the Basque community around the world. Today, we're giving you a sneak peek into that connection at the Boise Basque Museum Hemingway exhibit. It's hot, and guess what? Everybody knows. So, why not do another Beat the Heat story, like we do every year? But this one has all your favorite hits. That's right, the coolest clichés. 208 starts now. Welcome to the 208 and Joe Paris. Brian Holmes has the day off. We are a month after Pride Month, and even though Boise celebrates Pride in September, other cities across Idaho and the country, they usually hold their parades and festivals throughout the month of June, including in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, where the North Idaho Pride Alliance puts on their Coeur d'Alene Pride in the Park event every year. Thousands of people attend the event this year, and it went off without a hitch, which was not the case at last year's event when extremists attempted to hijack the Pride celebration altogether. 31 members of the white nationalist group Patriot Front were arrested by police for conspiracy to riot after they were found in the back of a U-Haul truck. Well, today, trial continued for 5 of the 31 members of the Patriot Front that were arrested in Idaho last year. Trial actually started late yesterday. Cameras are not allowed in the courtroom, but our sister station in Spokane has been there listening to the testimony and sharing what they have found. The 5 men that have been mentioned here are all opting to go to trial after pleading not guilty to conspiracy to riot. It's a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in jail and/or a $5,000 fine. At the time of their arrest, the men all wore the same thing, and their hats were reinforced with hard plastic inserts. The group's defense attorney argued that none of their behavior constituted them as a threat nor constituted an arrest, but instead, police arrested the men for wearing their Patriot uniform. Among the law enforcement who testified was Coeur d'Alene Police Captain David Hagar, who was there when police opened the U-Haul that day, seeing a group of men. He testified that inside of the U-Haul, they found 15 metal shields, 2 plastic shields, 2 10-foot poles with what appeared to be American flags at the top, 6 handheld 2-way radios, individual first aid kits, and other protective equipment. He testified that during their investigation, police came to believe that the group inside the truck was heading to the Pride event, likely to cause a disturbance, and they were also concerned that the shields and poles were intended to cause harm there. But the lead detective in the case testified that he doesn't think that the group planned to commit any violence. Detective Jesse Welch said, quote, "I believe their intentions were peaceful. However, they were prepared for a riot." The state rested its case against the men, so today we should hear the defense's case in the trial. Now, yesterday, the defense did ask the judge to dismiss the case altogether, but the judge did deny that request. There's an epidemic sweeping through the nation. You've heard about it. People in communities in Idaho and abroad are dying from opioid overdoses. And you can assign blame, you can politic, you can ignore it. The bottom line here is that people are dying from deadly opioids. Fentanyl is a prime example. The Idaho Department of Health and Welfare reports that 44% of overdose deaths in Idaho in 2021 involve synthetic opioids like fentanyl, and that compares to 21% in 2020 and only 12% in 2019. So you can see there in the graphic, it's a growing problem. And while there isn't a single fix to the problem, there is something people can do to save lives. It's a drug called naloxone, and it can reverse an opioid overdose. No crazy side effects, no risks. Naloxone, commonly the brand name Narcan, it saves lives, period. End of discussion. The thing is, though, is naloxone can only reverse an OD if people have access to it. In Idaho, access is a challenge. A new nonprofit, the Boise Seal Project, is working to get naloxone into places that it can make a difference, and they say that the bottom line is about saving lives. Coming up later on in the 208, we are going to hear from the Boise Seal Project about what they're doing and why they're doing this for the community. You've probably heard of Ernest Hemingway. Maybe he was your summer reading that you did or didn't do. You know, the writer who sponsored Old Man and the Sea? Well, did you know that he has deep roots connected to the Basque community? And that community is prominent right here in the Treasure Valley, and they're proud to share his Boise story coming up. Something else we should know about? Well, why don't you text us? Here's the phone number, 208-321-5614. Please be sure to include your name and hashtag the 208. We're going to read some of your comments live at the end of the show. Welcome back to the 208. Well, I got to tell you, do you know who Ernest Hemingway is? You probably do. He's a world-renowned author. But did you know that he actually is really tied into a special thing here in Boise? The Basque community, originally from Spain, they call Boise home, and they actually have one of the largest communities here in Boise that you would find outside of the Basque country in Spain. Well, Ernest Hemingway, he's connected to the Basque community, and to tell us about it and to really show us more about the life of Ernest Hemingway and the connection with the Basque community, the Basque Museum in downtown Boise on the Basque Block, they have a brand new exhibit about Ernest Hemingway and his connection to the community. Our Kevin Esslinger went there earlier today to check it out.
We were looking for a traveling exhibit to fill this space. So we finally got on a call with the director of the Euskalteria Museoa, so the Basque Country Museum in Guernica, and she said, I have the perfect exhibit for you. And we were like, oh, we can't wait to hear. And she was like, it's about Hemingway and his time in the Basque Country. Well, that's perfect. That sounds like the perfect exhibit for us. So it was a no-brainer to say yes to it. My name is Amaya Herrera, and this exhibit is Hemingway in Euskalteria, or Hemingway in the Basque Country. He kind of found a Basque community wherever he went. And so originally he was kind of introduced to the Basques through the festival of San Fermin in Pamplona. And so that's what he wrote The Sun Also Rises about. And so it's one of his most famous books, and it kind of put the festival on the map. And I mean, thousands of people still go to the festival every year, and that's kind of attributed to Hemingway. He reported on the Spanish Civil War and kind of was one of the first people, especially one of those American writers that were kind of reporting on what Franco was doing in Spain. After he moved to Cuba, he became friends with a bunch of pelotaris, which are Basque pala players. So they play esku, they play handball, or pala, which is kind of like a racket game. And then again in Idaho, he found a bunch of Basque friends and just created a community. So he really found a Basque kind of family wherever he went. One of the things that it talks about in the exhibit is the bombing of Guernica. They attacked Guernica specifically to attack Basque culture and Basque identity. At the time, the Spanish state was censoring the media. So they were saying, no, these bombings and these attacks did not happen. Hemingway was one of the first people to report on that and talk about that on an international stage. So he was there to kind of represent the Basque people when they didn't have a voice. So there's a whole section on his Basque friends that he made in Cuba and how they used to go looking for German U-boats in their spare time, which I had no idea about. There are a few quotes that they pull out in each of the exhibits, and it's like the Basques are extraordinary people, and the Basques are a proud people, but they're very, very noisy. I think it was just easy for him to get along with them. He saw something special in their culture, how proud they were, just their lifestyle, and it's something he latched onto and just kept finding throughout his whole life.
So the new exhibit opens today. Again, it'll be in downtown Boise. It opens tonight at 6 p.m. The community is invited to go check it out. And it's actually open till next summer, so you don't have to rush down there. We suggest that you do go down there quickly. We know, though, that it's going to be very exciting. So let us know if you enjoy it. Text us. We'll hear about it later. Welcome back to the 208. Okay, earlier in the program, I teased you with the story about a group that wants to get naloxone out to the community in Boise. Let's see what they have to say. Saving lives. That is the crux of a new nonprofit out of Boise. The Boise SEAL Project is working to get naloxone into the community to reverse opioid overdoses.
What we want is wall-mounted vending machines inside the bathrooms, stand-up vending machines that easily accessible.
Jake Danny, Fel Quinn, and Amanda Quinn say there is a stigma around even getting naloxone. Part of that involves paperwork some organizations ask people to fill out to get it. Vending machines help eliminate that.
But you don't have to give a list of personal information like your full name and your birthday, just so that it removes some of the fear that people might have. They don't want to be put on a list or seen as someone who possibly uses. They just want to have the resources in their pocket ready to go in case they come across somebody who needs it. So I think just having that, breaking the stigma, having it in public spaces at a low cost or free would be amazing for this community.
Big idea? Get the vending machines into high traffic areas like the downtown bars.
It seems like everybody knows somebody that has been affected by fentanyl.
Ted Challenger operates a collection of popular spots in downtown Boise. The Boise SEAL Project approached him about getting machines in his venues just this week.
This can help save a life, and if they want, I'll give them space in my bars to try to sell this and get this distributed. I don't think many people know this is available.
Awareness is a major project for the SEAL team. They've found that people just don't want to touch the subject at all, and that's created unknowns about naloxone.
You'll notice them and be like, well, wait, what is this? And hopefully that will, catch an eye too. It'll be like, I've never seen this before, and maybe that will help spread the word as well. So within the next 3 weeks to a month, you'll see these things popping up.
The opioid crisis, the deaths from fentanyl, they're so common that it's so personal for so many.
People didn't know about it. I've seen, there was a body found in the alley here one day, and we watched the video, and it was a guy who in the alley, and he sniffed something up at his nose, and he circled 2 times, and he just fell dead. And that's how quick it was. And to have this, that left an impression on me. So to have this, could save someone's life. Yeah, I want to educate the young people that it's available.
It's something that affects me personally and affects pretty much everyone that I know in the community, in the music scene, in the bar scene.
I've personally lost 5 lives out of this situation, and so that effectiveness for me, was pretty downtrodden. And when I heard the Quins wanted to do this, I immediately backed it. And I have clients through downtown, such as Ted Challenger and people I know that I work with, and I thought, why not have them get their foot in the door? They are doing amazing. They want to change not only the laws and the system, but help. The main point is to save lives. The lives I've lost could have been here. I could have still seen my friends if this was available to them, if it was in their pocket, in their house, at that party. And so for me, it was a personal impact.
The Center for Disease Control confirms naloxone is safe. Naloxone will not harm someone if you give it to them and they are not having an opioid overdose. If they are, it can be the difference between life and death.
You unravel it, there's even instructions in there. It tells you to turn the person to their side, 1 shot with the nasal spray. It'll revive them. Once they start breathing again or their lips ain't blue, then immediately you can tell that you saved their life.
To be clear, the Department of Health and Welfare in Idaho says that Idaho law allows organizations and non-medical staff to provide naloxone to anyone who may need it. However, there are new restrictions as to this. There's new restrictions, I should say, as of this year, as to what the government-funded groups in Idaho can do with naloxone. Basically, they can't just hand it out to anyone. Critics of these new laws say that this effort to control and distribute naloxone has made it really hard to even get. So that is a major factor as to why the Boise SEAL Project exists.
All right, let's talk weather, shall we? And for anyone keeping track, let's get out the triple-digit temp tracker in Boise. We are now up to 5. I'm including today because we have seen 102 degrees in Boise so far today. The hottest we've been this summer is 105 in Boise. That was just this past weekend. I do think we'll see that number fall by the time this coming weekend is over. It is hot everywhere, approaching 90 in our mountain locations like McCall and Sun Valley, 85 in Stanley. You do see some clouds out there, not so much in the lower elevations, but some of those cumulus clouds building up in the mountains. That is because we do have some storm activity, so that indicates mid-level moisture when you see those clouds, and we combine that with the daytime heating. We've had storms firing off just north of Sun Valley and just south of Twin Falls. Gusty winds and lightning strikes, the biggest impacts, with some quick bursts of rain likely. And it looks like we could see a few more stray storms firing off possibly Saturday, especially in the central mountains. So if you do have camping plans for the weekend, it will be hot. Expect those high temperatures. Also the possibility of a stray storm or 2. So when we talk about the heat, we have a heat advisory already in effect for tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday in the Treasure and Magic Valleys because of that intense heat coming in. This is what we'll see tomorrow. We're at 102 now in Boise. We'll hit 104 tomorrow, into the 90s in places like McCall and Haley. So in the mountains, you're not really beating the heat by climbing up in elevation, but it will be a little more bearable, as we'll see 95 in the central mountains on Saturday. In the Boise area, 107 is my forecast high. That's 1 degree shy of the all-time record for that date. We don't see the triple digits fall until next Tuesday.
And Rachel, only a few degrees short of the all-time record of 111 in Boise. We'll keep tabs on that. But anyways, yes, as Rachel was saying, it's hot. And we've been saying that for the last few days, and we'll continue to say that. But you know what that means? Hot weather stories, and a lot of them, like a lot. So it feels like the perfect time to take you back a few years to a story we did on the hot weather, 208 style. Brian?
These stories always seem to start with a shot of the sun because, after all, it's the main reason we're doing these stories. We all know it's gonna be hot. I mean, cue the customary confirming question and answer. It's gonna be hot today.
Yes, it is.
And here we go. When the temperatures keep climbing, there are two types of heat handlers. Those who try to beat it, and those who embrace it. But like this other shot of the sun you probably expected to see right about now, it's something you already knew. Still, we feel the need to, I don't know, reaffirm what else you already know about keeping cool and safe in Idaho's heat. The most important thing to remember in heat like this, and I'm sure you probably heard this before, hydration. According to the Mayo Clinic, a man would have to drink 4 liters of water, or nearly 4 liters of water, 3.7 to be exact, to be hydrated throughout the day. Women, a little bit less, about 2.7. Still, it's a lot of water, and right now is a good time to start. Okay, so here's another thing you probably already heard. You want to try to stay cool, and that means staying away from that as much as possible. And to do that, guess what? You got to find some shade. Oh gosh, okay. Okay, so while I move this table, please enjoy another shot of the sun, and this guy getting some of it. Oh yeah, don't forget to hydrate. Okay, so you made it into the shade, but what if you have to be out in the sun? How do you protect yourself? Oh, I know, sunscreen. And they say it's gotta be broad spectrum and at least 30 SPF. They are the American Academy of Dermatology, and they say it needs to be applied every 2 hours or after swimming and or sweating, which is pretty easy to do on a day like today. So how much should you use? Well, again, according to the American Academy of Dermatology, in order to cover all the areas that your clothes don't, you're gonna need about an ounce of sunscreen to cover the spots where your clothes don't. Like this guy. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but yet it kind of is. Don't forget, fluids. Kind of runs right through you. Okay, so I hope we help you beat the heat with these tips. Okay, who put an egg on the asphalt? Gross. Oh yeah, one more thing, and probably most important. Don't ever leave kids or pets in cars, especially on a day like today. Oh look, a cookie on the dashboard. It's like it's fresh out of the oven. So settle in, folks. We got a whole summer coming.
It's KTVB's Brian Holmes. To find out more tips to beat the heat, we've got plenty of stories on our website right now. Or better yet, tune into the news at 6 for some fun in the sun on the river with KTVB's Hector Mendoza. And he's going to be talking a way to beat the heat that we've never talked about, right? The Boise River.
Often there are geese here. There's always habitat to watch.
This morning, their sights are set a little higher.
Well, these guys certainly, and this little construction project that we've been watching is keeping us entertained.
A couple of ospreys
They're busy building.
have decided to make the north side of this East End sign
Not something you see often.
home.
Home indeed. Those osprey were busy building and busy with other things since April 17th when we first showed you their nest at Eagle's East End Shopping Center. We've been wondering how those baby osprey have been doing, and now we know. Yesterday, Bobby Moeller sent us a text that just said, just an update for you on the osprey on State and Eagle. Saw 3 babies there today and sent in a picture. And they look like their parents. Oh, so sweet. Ospreys often partner for life, so maybe next year this family will have even more kiddos. Ah, yes, the end of the program. We're going to get to your comments in just a second. First, I do want to tell you a programming note. The 208 has tomorrow off, so we will be stepping aside till next week. So do not expect to see us on the news at 5 tomorrow. We will have a more standard edition of the news for you. Anyways, let's take a look at these. This person says, hashtag the 208. Yep, I always carry shields, body armor, first aid kits, poles, and uniforms when I want to peacefully engage with the group. Jan, a good point. Addressing those Patriot Front trials going on right now. This person says, I'm confused. Are the Idaho drug overdoses from legal or illegal drugs? Jim from Meridian. All right, so to be very clear, we are talking about opioid overdoses, things like fentanyl. Those are illegal drugs. Naloxone, the brand name Narcan, that actually, it reverses the effects of an opioid overdose. There are some stigmas with the Narcan, naloxone, where some people say, well, if you have that, that must mean you're a drug addict. So there's a lot of misinformation out there. Part of this story today was trying to get that out there. But Idahoans are overdosing from illegal drugs. Naloxone can legally help them. This person says, I work for several ERs in the Mid-Atlantic. My personal opinion is that unless they're going to combine Narcan with some type of drug program, they are wasting their time and money. And I think we got one more here. Someone telling us that they love to come to Idaho because of Ernest Hemingway's connection. So anyways, 208, back next week.